guys, today I want to talk foundation, okay? So I have tried quite a few different foundations. I think I found my new favorite one today, so we're going to get into that. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about the ones that I have tried, and what I'm basing it off of, like how I like them, is how they react with my primer combination that I use, my skin type, and also like the powder that I use, like how that lays on top and how it makes like my bronzer, my eye makeup, everything look. So first off, I want to talk about my skin type. I have what you would call combination skin. So like right in here and a little on my forehead tends to be a little bit more oily, but right down here on my chin and like in this area tends to be a lot more dry. And then like around my hairline, kind of right here in between my eyebrows, the top part of my nose, and like around here is more normal. I used to have, my skin type used to be considered normal, but over the past couple of years, it's changed into combination skin. Your skin type will change. You won't have the same skin type your entire life. That's just how it is. You may not like that, but that's a fact. So what I like to do is start off with a hydrating primer. My favorite one right now, this is just a sample because I need to go get the bigger one, but the Tarte Base Tape Hydrating Primer, I really like this one. It's not super tacky. It'll hydrate the skin, but it's got just enough stickiness to it where it really helps your makeup grip. So I do really like this one. It does smell like coconut though, so if you're not a big fan of coconut scented things, or if you're allergic to coconut, I would not recommend using that one. The other hydrating primer that I really like is this one right here, the Makeup Forever one. This one, it's not as tacky as the Tarte one, so you might like that better if you're not into a really tacky feeling primer, but this one is really good, and it really like juices up the skin. And sorry, I had to readjust this, and it's just extremely good primer. It's probably that and the Tarte one are probably the most hydrating ones that I've found that I actually like. And then through here and like up here where I tend to be a little more oily, my pores are larger through there, I go in with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Everybody knows about this one. It was a big hit late 2018 when it came out. Everybody wanted to get their hands on it. It was actually probably March of 2019 when I finally was able to get it, but here's what it looks like. This is a newer one. I've only used this one about twice now. But some people will take their fingernail and like dig in and get a bunch. I just like to take my sponge like this and really just dunk in there and then just press it in the areas where I need it. But this is a really good pore filling primer, and I've tried the Tarte one. I don't really like that one as good. I haven't tried the Tatcha one that everybody seems to love. I know they said that this was a dupe for the Tatcha one, so I mean, I know the one by Tatcha is like $50 some. This one's only $8. So if you can find this, get it. I know they now have a mattifying one, and they have a hydrating one in the putty primers as well. I haven't tried either of those yet, but I did see them in Ulta the other day when I went in there, and I know that they did not have those originally when they came out with this one. So, I mean, yeah. I'll also occasionally use this e.l.f. This mineral infused face primer. This is just the basic clear one. It's kind of a mattifying one. This is actually the first primer that I ever started using, and I still love it. I do. But most of what I use is the hydrating primer, and then I'll go in with that poreless putty. And then as far as like my powder and stuff that I always use, I normally try to stick with this one, the Coty Airspun. It's the OG. Everybody loves this. It's an amazing setting powder. The only thing I would watch out for is if you're going to take photos, it can give you really bad flashback when you're taking photos, so you do want to be careful with this. I don't really bake my face though, so I don't really have that big of an issue with flashback, because I just kind of dust this everywhere. But alright, let's get into the foundations now. I'm going to start with my least favorite and then work my way up to my number one that I've tried. So in last place, or hold on, how many have I got here? I have 9 different ones here. I've actually tried about 10, because I did try the Makeup Forever, the HD one. I will add that in this list. I am out of it though, so I don't have it here with me. But in last place, so 10th place, is this CoverGirl True Blend. It's a super thick foundation. Their shade range is very confusing because they use the same names as their other foundation lines, but they're nowhere near the same shade as the other ones. You'll see that in a minute. Like, I bought this one, which was Creamy Natural, and it was way too dark. It's like, you can probably, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this is a lot darker than what I would usually use. And Creamy Natural is the shade name of another shade that I use in one of their other foundation lines, so it's kind of confusing. I know when I got this, they didn't have like a really wide shade range, but this one, I don't know, it's super thick and heavy. It didn't really blend that well, even though it says True Blend is the name of it. I don't know. This one was just not good, in my opinion. Some people might like it, but it didn't work for me. Especially like right in here, even though I used the putty primer, it made my pores appear larger, so it's like it didn't mix right with the e.l.f. primer, so I don't know. Okay, then I have in 9th place this Maybelline The Fit Me Shine Free Foundation Stick. This is for combination skin. This is the first foundation line I tried, which this one you'll see it's a lot darker than me. I bought this originally to use as a contour stick because I could not find one anywhere. I've found one now, so I don't really use this that much anymore. I should probably, still smells okay. But it's probably getting close to time to throwing her away. But what's interesting about this is you'll notice, I don't know if you can still see, yeah, you can see it a little bit, that little round spot in the center of this is actually, it has a shine-free powder core in it. This foundation, it does look nice on the skin. It works well with my primer, but it's a very light coverage. I don't know. I It was good for like a first trial run foundation, but I'm not that big on like stick foundations anymore. I would much rather use a liquid. I mean, it works, but it's not, it doesn't give you that flawless finish that you would want. It's a very light coverage. It does blend good, but it's also, when you're trying to put it on, you're putting it on directly from this, so when you're sliding it, it kind of skips because it really grips to the skin. But yeah. Alright, in 8th place, the other CoverGirl foundation that I like, which is their Clean Matte. This one is also called Creamy Natural. This one is much closer to my skin tone. However, when I bought this, this one, it's a little bit too peachy for me. I'm more of a neutral shade. I do have a tiny bit of like a, I guess like golden or olive undertone, but I would be more on the neutral side. This one's just a little bit too peachy, but it works. This is the only one I have that doesn't have a pump or a doe foot applicator, so this is like the old school type of foundation bottle. But this one's good. It is a clean matte finish, but it's not what I would call full coverage. It's more light to medium coverage, and it does blend good. It's just that's on, I use that one a lot in the winter when I want to wear foundation, but I don't know. It's more of simple looks, like what I've got today, but I didn't use that one today. I used my number 1, so we'll get to that in a minute. Alright, next, Clinique. We're moving into the more high-end. The Clinique, everyone knows this. It's been sold at Belk and Macy's for years. It's sold in Ulta now. It's sold in Sephora. Everyone knows what Clinique is. This is the first high-end foundation I used. It does have a doe foot applicator. This one is actually, this is the Beyond Perfecting. It's foundation and concealer in one, so it is a full coverage foundation. They don't have that big of a shade range, or at least they didn't the last time I looked at it. They may have expanded it by now. I'd have to go online to see that, but when I first started buying this, though, the shade range was a little disappointing. Like, this is shade 2 Alabaster. This one is actually darker than what I am, but the first one they had was a lot lighter. So I did go with this one. It's not too much darker than my skin tone, but I do tend to stick with this one more in the summertime when I've got a little bit of a tan, so it's not as noticeable. But now thinking back on it, I think I did look this up like a week or so ago, and I think they had expanded their shade range, because I think this is at like number 6 or 7 now instead of number 2. So I actually might end up checking into that to see if I can find a shade that actually does match. But yeah, I mean, this is a really good foundation. It's just it takes a while for it to blend. I don't really like that it has a doe foot on it. I mean, I know it's the same thing with concealers. They have doe foots and stuff, but to me, for some reason, this doesn't seem sanitary. I don't know why, but don't know why I feel like that. But it was one of my favorites, but it's definitely moved down the line now. It takes a while to blend it in. You really have to work it into the skin in order for it to get that flawless, just like good blend. Alright, so next is the Makeup Forever HD. It's a little too liquidy. It's a very runny foundation. I want a little bit of thickness to it so that it's, I don't know, it makes too much of a mess. I like the way it looks, but it's a little bit too messy, and it doesn't dry very quickly either. It stays wet for a while. So I probably, because I ran out of it, I probably won't be buying that one again just because of that. Alright, and next, so what did we just do? We did 5. Alright, so I think, hold on. No, we did number 6. Alright, so at number 5, alright, 4 and 5 are kind of a tied position. So, these two. The Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-hour full coverage and the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-hour hydrating foundation. These are both amazing. This one, because it is a clay-based foundation, it's going to be super thick. It's a little bit of a heavier foundation, so if you don't like really heavy foundations, I would stay away from this, but the coverage is phenomenal. This one is more liquidy, but it's still got just as much coverage as this one. The only reason that this is at 4 and 5 is because of the price point. These are like, I want to say this one's $32 for the big bottle. It might actually be more than that, and I know this one is in the 30s too. These are both high-end brands, so that's to be expected. That's about an average price for the high-end brands, but my top 3 are just as good as these, and they're like half the price. So the only reason that this is at 4 and 5 is because of that price point. They are amazing foundations. If you like Tarte and Smashbox, you'll love these. Alright, at number 3 is a $5 foundation. It is Believe Beauty. This is the Dollar General exclusive brand foundation. You can only buy this at Dollar General. This is in the shade Porcelain. They do need to work on their shade range. They've only got like 12, but it is a very small brand, so I didn't really, when it came out, I didn't really expect it to be that spectacular. But I've tried a few things from them. Some of it's not that great, but this is absolutely amazing. This is a medium to full coverage foundation, and it's absolutely beautiful. It blends to perfection. It's just so good. It's at number 3 because they do need to work on the shade range a little bit, and it's not based on the other 2 that are ahead of it. This one is probably my least favorite out of those 3 because of the finishes and everything. But at number 2, I have the Pacifica Light Clean Foundation. Pacifica is a cruelty-free brand, and it's also 100% vegan. So this one can be used by everybody. This is $16, I believe. It says it's supposed to be oil-free anti-shine. It is not anti-shine. It might be oil-free, but it is a dewy foundation. I normally have to load up my face with powder with it, but a little goes a long way. You don't have to use a lot of this, and it is what I would consider to be a full coverage foundation. This is in 38 NF, which is neutral fair, but this this is a great foundation, especially if you've got more sensitive skin. I tend to have, my skin is, it's not like super sensitive, but I will break out with certain products and stuff. This is a really good brand for if you do have sensitive skin, especially since it is a clean one. Alright, and at number 1 is the Juvia's Place, the I Am Magic Matte Foundation. That's what I'm wearing today. This one, it is probably the most full coverage foundation that I have ever tried. And I know a lot of the bigger influencers on YouTube have also said the same thing, and this is only like $20. It is so affordable. You can buy it at Ulta. It is absolutely amazing, and they are also a cruelty-free brand, which is awesome. I wish more beauty brands were cruelty-free, but this is just so beautiful. It's so full coverage. It blends out so easily. It's not heavy, even though it is a little bit of a thicker foundation. It's very lightweight. So, yeah, it's just awesome. So let's recap. So, least favorite was the True Blend, then the Maybelline Fit Me Stick, the CoverGirl Clean Matte, the Clinique Beyond Perfecting, Makeup Forever HD, Tarte Amazonian Clay, Smashbox 24-Hour Wear, the Studio Skin one, Believe Beauty, Pacifica A Light Clean Foundation, and then the Juvia's Place I Am Magic. So I hope you found this video useful. If you're interested in trying any of these, I hope they work as well for you as they have for me. And if you have any further questions about anything that I talked about in the video, like any of the primers that I talked about or powder or anything, just feel free to leave a comment down below. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can see what I upload that's new. And I think that's about it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. About a thing.